nothing. I don't want to fuck with shit.
Welcome back to the Comic Book Bullies with Nurse New Bully. My host Leroy, aka No Time for Love, Dr. Jones, with my co-host.
All right. Yeah, this is Eli, aka R5D's nuts.
There you go. Sorry, I didn't mean to catch you with your pants down. I think you're in the middle of talking about something, but yeah. We're back with the episode. Just gonna jump into it. Not too much happened. We're gonna go into it. Eli, this past week we celebrated a new holiday, Mario Day. I guess that's a new thing. Yeah,
I did not know that.
It's a new thing. Everybody's celebrating Mario Day. So
I would have had pizza.
Do you have pizza Mario Day? I don't. Mushrooms. Supposed to have mushrooms.
Mushroom pizza?
Or do mushrooms? I don't know.
Or have mushroom pizza. Put your mushrooms on the pizza.
Put mushrooms on your pizza. Do mushrooms. Do something.
Mushroom, onion, sausage. That's a good combo.
There you go. So we decided to celebrate on the page also, but I did like a little practical joke that I've been doing for the last 3 years. And I think I made it a little bit too clever. I don't think people caught it when I did this. You
might get canceled now.
We might get. I realize that's controversial now, but the thing is, some of this it just flew over people's heads completely. So I just asked them, "What's your favorite Mario game that you play?" And people just naming Donkey Kong and Mario 3 or whatever like that, completely missing what I'm doing with the joke. So if people don't know what I'm doing with the joke, I will explain the joke because I think it was a little too complicated. This is male porn star Ron Jeremy, pretty much the most famous porn star of all. Now he's done other things that have got him canceled because I guess porn.
He's in jail right now. I heard
he's in jail right now. Yeah, so that's it. So that's going on right now. So Ron Jeremy
cosplayed, got me too'd,
as one would. That's a porn star, But like I said, he got cosplayed. He cosplayed as Mario, and people don't know who he is. They would like that. So, I had to explain this joke to somebody that didn't know who he was because you got to remember, this was Ron Jeremy's heyday was a while ago. So there's a lot of people that don't even know who he is. Like even if I do say who he is, they won't know who he is. So I say, yes, this is a male porn star, and they looked at me like, wait, that's a porn star? And I'm like, you know what? I never really thought about that. Yeah, our expectation for a male porn star nowadays isn't what it was.
Yeah. The good old hairy 80s.
Right. All you just needed was just a porn stash and you were good to go. You didn't need anything else, And so now you think porn
packing
star,
like a mule. And that's
yeah, like you didn't think about that back then. So now you think male porn star, you think, remember that dude from Arrow?
Oh yeah.
I'm not saying he is a porn star, but when you think porn star, that's what you think. Like that dude would do really well in porn, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. He had no business being a poor kid from the hood.
Right. Like that just didn't make any sense. So that's my whole thing about that. So
just want to explain this kid afford all his hair products.
Right. He stole it, I guess. I don't know. Or maybe he was just doing male prostitution on the side. That's how he made his living.
That was his hustle. Yeah.
That was his hustle. Hey, get it how you can.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
That being said, we move on to the next part of the podcast. Like I said, we're going to talk about a movie that I saw that actually I had no plan of seeing. We'll get into it. So we're going to talk about Creed 3. Now, the reason why did I see this movie? The reason I saw this movie, even though I had no plans of seeing this movie, is because I went to Vicksburg this weekend and the family wanted to see it. So it was a whole family thing. We all went and saw it.
Nice.
Yeah. So we got a chance to see it. Nobody saw the other Creed. I didn't see Creed 2, but I saw Creed 1. And I saw one more movie than everybody else in the family saw.
Nobody saw the first Creed? Like
they didn't see the first Creed. They was just like, or if they did see it,
they think they were going to go see the band or something?
Probably, I guess. They just saw Michael B. Jordan. Let's go see Michael B. Jordan.
Oh.
Ain't no crazy thing about it. The movie theater was packed. Keep in mind, it's Vicksburg, so it's like 30 seats, but still. But it was packed. That's the thing about it. I expected stretch out again, especially the second weekend stuff. But yeah, it was sold out. We went in there, packed seat. We got energy from the crowd, things like that. So I thought it was pretty good. What do I think about this movie? Okay, main thing I want to think about this movie is two ways I want to critique this movie. One way as a movie on its own, and another way as a movie in the Rocky franchise. Because I think there's two ways to determine this movie. As far as just a movie, it was a crowd pleaser. Like I said, Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors played well off each other, as the foils, the hero villain type thing like that. Everything else about the movie, I felt like wasn't bad, but I felt like it was paint by numbers, like standard, like it got the job done. That's all. Because the thing is now, and that's why I got to compare it to the other Rocky movies. Because of the Rocky movies, I always felt like, now this may be a controversial opinion, but I'm gonna say it because I've seen every Rocky movie multiple times. It's one of my favorite franchises of all time. It's up there with Star Wars, Fast and the Furious. It's up there, you know. But the thing I wanted to say is the Rocky movies, the main thing about the Rocky movies is the drama. The drama is the main thing about the Rocky movies. The acting, the characters, that's the main thing about the Rocky movie. By the time you actually get to the fight of the Rocky movie, that's actually probably the least important thing of those movies. Now, I'm not saying like the knockouts and who won, yes, that's important, but actually in the middle of the fights, the action between the fights, it's cool, but you're really bought in for everything that happens to that point. You remember the characters, you remember the name of the character, you remember the relationship with the character, you remember the quotes in this movie. This isn't that. This is paint by numbers. This is almost, you know, TV level drama. And it kind of flip flops. So where you don't care about the fights too much in the Rocky movies, in this movie, the fights are the selling point. Like this, I'm not going to say this is the best fight in the Rocky series. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But I will say this. It's the most visually interesting fights in the Rocky universe. I'll put it like that. Because all the Rocky movies up until all this point, even the other Creed movies, what they were trying to do is just recreate, you know, a real boxing match in the movie. So basically exactly how they filmed the boxing match in that, they were trying to do. They weren't doing that here. Again, this is Michael B. Jordan's first movie. And I will say this, he took some stylistic choices with this. So he wasn't just like, I'm going to just crank this shit out and just be like, no, he was trying to, you know, be a visionary, an auteur in some sense.
Express himself visually.
Yeah, I was like, okay, he has some style about himself what he was doing. Because the thing I noticed about this movie is that I heard that he was influenced by anime. And you can see it. Yeah, you can see it in there.
Kami.
I thought they were gonna just stop and just power up on each other. You know, like his power level has grown since last time we fought. I thought he was gonna say shit like that, but it's very realistic choices he did that when he was doing it. So when he did, let me see if I can find a picture of it. I find a picture. Yeah, okay. Like this scene right here. This scene happens in the movie, like halfway. It's exactly like every other anime ever made.
They did that. Didn't they do that? Was it Rocky 2? Didn't him and Creed, Rocky and
knock
Creed,
each other out at the same time?
Yeah, double knockout, and then they race to get up.
Right, and one had to get up and one lay down. Yeah, but it's the way it was framed. It was framed like it was an anime scene, or even this scene right here. This scene was directly at it. I thought Jonathan Majors was going to punch through his gut on the other side of it. Yeah, I thought like his back was gonna like extrude behind him and shit like that. And it was
go like the close up of the X-ray of
bones. I thought it was gonna be like, I was like, are they doing Mortal Kombat or some shit in this movie? And it's just like every other anime ever. Like I said, so he's taking very stylistic choice, but it's even beyond that. Like this is just the obvious stuff I'm noticing. It's other stuff like when he's fighting and that's getting beat, and he's like looking at the guy's rib cage. That like the action slows down. And he doesn't just say it, but you just see him looking at the rib cage. Like I see an opening.
Yeah, like Naruto, like every episode is one blow and then thinking about where he's gonna punch the next.
And that's what it is. Like in an anime, they would just stop and just talk about it. I see his opening, you know, all this stuff like that. He doesn't say it.
There's a flashback to his training and shit. It's a half hour. No, I just gotta hit that one pressure point.
And that's exactly what happens. He just like once he sees it, and then he goes for it, then he just unloads him like that. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is all anime right here. I'm just saying what we're doing right now. But it's funny how you said when they was fighting, they flashback to their childhoods like that. They do that. They do exactly that. Like in the third round when they're fighting, and both of them, and it's weird. Like, not only do they do that, the music change when they do that. So it started getting more somber, and all of a sudden in the ring, when it was like millions of people or 1,000 people in the crowd, all of a sudden nobody's in the crowd, nobody's there. It's just them as children fighting each other, and then the ring like turns into a cage because they were caged as children. I'm like, oh, it's symbolism, you know, metaphors while they're fighting each other. I'm like, okay, I see the cinematic expression you're doing right here. He's trying to make cinema with this. I see that, you know. So I got to give him his props on that. So the action scenes, they stand out. You remember them. You remember the punches. Even when the punches happen, the crowd was going like, ooh, ow, ooh. Like the crowd was into the action on this movie. So I really like that. But like I said, the other parts, like I said, the movie wasn't bad. It was just the plot is very, very, very predictable. You know, the plot is like the first 5 minutes of the movie, where it's going to go. But I do like it that Jonathan Majors is such a great actor that anytime he's on scene, you feel uncomfortable. You don't know what he's going to do. Is he going to be nice? There's the part where he flips out. Is the part where he, when he's talking to, Adonis, whatever, Apollo Jr., Michael B. Jordan, his kids, talking to them.
Funny how?
Right. Things like that. You're just like, is this where he flips out? Is it what so it makes you feel uneasy the whole time? And I kind of like that, just the way he's acting. Like I said, this guy's been locked up. He's free now, so he has no social skills. So I kind of like that, And
so he's not like Clubber Lang's son or some old Rocky villain's son or anything.
No. He's not Clubber Lang's son, but spiritually, you feel the spirit of Clubber Lang here. That's what I'm saying.
Say woman.
Right, like you don't get any iconic scenes like that. I bet you stay up all night dreaming for a real man.
Prediction of the fight.
Pain. Just classic lines like that. But at the same time, I'm glad you brought that up. Like I said, you got Clubber Lang, you got Ivan Drago. At the end of the day, they were very two-dimensional villains. Like they were just one note. Where Jonathan Majors' character has, emotional weight to him. Until he do some villain shit, which is like, oh yeah, he's a bad guy. I forgot, But until that point, he does feel like he has nuance to him, And I will say this: after all the fight happens like that, the movie doesn't end with just a fight. There's another scene after the fight, which I'm so glad they put in. Other people don't like it. They said the movie should have ended at this point. No, I'm so glad they put that point in the movie because it wraps up the theme of the movie. The whole theme of the movie is toxic masculinity. That's the thing I think people missed over that. Because the thing is, there's some shit that went down with these two. They were teenagers that it could have been resolved if they just walked it out. But they're fighters.
Each other a hug.
Yeah, that's all they need to do. But they're fighters. They're men. They don't talk about their problems. They go at each other. That's what they do, and that's where it got to that point. But if they would have just sat down, apologized for the shit that happened, look back on the we never would have got to this point. But no, we kept escalating because that's what men do.
Yeah.
So, or just dealing with trauma, dealing with the past, things we don't talk about. So I'm so glad they left that last point of the movie in instead of it just like, okay, the bad guy has been vanquished, communism is over, and all this shit. Like, no, they didn't do that. They actually, I like what they went with this. So
that's cool because sometimes that's all it takes is maybe you just need to hear somebody say something
right
that they haven't said yet, and that's would just squash everything.
Right, but it didn't get to that point, and I'm glad that the movie addressed that this all could have been avoided if we just did this first, So pretty cool. That's also I got to say about that. Like I said, overall, what do I give this movie? I give it a 4 out of 5. I give it 4 out of 5. It is a good, entertaining movie. I almost like the fact that the movie plot is simple. So that means it's not juggling too many plot points and stuff like that. It's people can get in. It's easy to follow. This isn't a Marvel movie where you got to do all kind of research and shit like that. And you got to watch all kind of 9 Rocky movies before then. No, you just get in. If they do reference an old thing, an old Rocky movie, a Creed movie, they don't hold it against you. You're like, okay, it's just a thing that happened.
Yeah, I liked the first Creed. I thought it was great. I thought it was a cool way of. That's how you reboot a franchise,
right?
You make it fresh, and and I really dug the first movie. The second one was just but I did like. I do plan on seeing this one. I
didn't even see the second. But the funny thing is about it, like the bad guy, I guess Ivan Drago Jr. in the second movie, he's in this one.
Okay.
And him and Creed are just buddy. They're just friends, Okay. And it's just funny. Like, okay, I thought you were the bad guy, but like, he's not the bad guy.
Well, that's what happened in the original Rockies. I mean, Rocky and Apollo became friends. Apollo started training him and shit.
Right.
Taught him style and taught him how to bob and weave because all Rocky was a brawler at first, and then taught him movement, footwork.
Let's be honest. Apollo taught Rocky how to fight like a black person. And I'm not even making it up. I mean, Mickey says it. Oh, you train him in that jungle style, that jungle music. I'm like, come on, y'all not hearing this? That's never here nor there.
But that's that. Those are fundamentals of like boxers, and I don't know. I mean, it kind of came from Ali of bobbing and weaving, and head movement,
some kind of rhythm. You got to,
footwork,
style, pacing,
footwork and shit. It is 1, 2. Like even their punches are named after numbers.
Right.
So yeah, but yeah, Rocky was just a brawler. It was Apollo who taught him how to beat Clubber Lang.
Right.
And then even after Apollo died, Apollo's trainers still train Rocky, like for the Drago fight. And wasn't he around for like the other movies too? Like
yeah, they trained him in
trainers and shit?
Balboa.
Yeah.
So
So
like, I do want to say this because this is a very, very important thing also about this movie. Sylvester Stallone's not in it at all, not even referenced.
Who?
Yeah, Sylvester Stallone, Rocky.
Oh, Rocky's not in it. Okay,
he's not in it, right, at all. And not only he's not in it, Sylvester Stallone has been shitting on this movie to anybody that will listen within earshot.
Okay, I didn't. Was he? He wasn't. Was he in the? I can't even remember. That's how I only saw the last movie once.
Yeah, he was in the last one. He pretty much said he would not be in the third one because I guess it's some kind of legal rights with it that somehow Sylvester Stallone has actually no control or input on these movies. He don't own Rocky at all, not even like a percentage of it.
But he put out like during the lockdown during 2020, he put out that Drago cut, the director's cut, which is a complete. It's a complete. I don't know if you've seen it. It's a completely different movie. Like it's like the robot isn't in it. Like none of the comedy shit's in it.
I don't even think his kid is in it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it's just all focused around Creed or Apollo for like most of the movie. So when he dies, it's like more emotionally impactful and shit. And it's a whole different movie. If you haven't seen that, the new Rocky, is it Rocky versus Drago?
Rocky versus Drago,
cut or whatever.
And they said it's only 3 minutes longer than the original cut, but they said they changed so much stuff about it.
Yeah, it's not in order. It's completely not in the same order. Like it starts out with Apollo seeing Drago fight, like watching footage of him fighting and shit.
Yeah, because that's one here. It's more Drago in this one.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. I have not seen it. I think it's out somewhere.
The Drago fight? The Drago cut?
Yeah, the Drago cut.
I bought it on Vudu. It was on Vudu. I got it. So
okay.
But yeah, it's a completely different movie.
So I got to check that out. And I love Rocky 4, even though I feel like it had some goofy points to it. And I think Rocky did go. So if they try to make it more, more realistic and have more stakes to it, I think it's something
like none of the comedy shit's in it. Like the robot. Remember that robot that Paulie gets for his
has
birthday?
sex with? Yeah.
There's no robot in the Drago cut or whatever.
Fleshlight before fleshlight. Yeah. That's all I got to say about that. So yeah, I recommend this movie. If you have reservations because Sylvester Stallone is not in this movie, I'll be honest with you. Even though I've seen every Rocky movie and Sylvester Stallone is Rocky and he is in Spartan, personally, I did not miss him in this movie. I didn't feel like there was something missing. I feel like, okay, this is Adonis Creed's story. Let him tell his story. And honestly, I feel like Sylvester Stallone would have been in it. I think he would have like overshadowed the story they were trying to tell. That's me.
Yeah, I mean, it is Creed's story now.
Yeah.
And that's what I liked about the first one is it picked up where Rocky, but basically it was like the passing of the torch. Rocky to Creed. And I thought it worked. I loved that. I was like one of my favorite movies. That gave me chills and shit.
I mean, as far as like in the franchise, Creed is the first one is up there for me. Like it's very high on that list for me.
Yeah, it's better than most of the Rocky sequels.
It's better than most of them, yeah.
And I had this shit. I like fucking got shivers when he stood up and gave him that pep talk during the last round and I'm not a mistake and shit. And when they finally played the Rocky music, because they didn't play the Rocky music in the whole movie,
Right. But even when they did play, it was kind of like a hip hop remix when he
like there was like I was like, where the fuck is the Rocky music? And it wasn't. And then once that last round when he stands up, dun 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 dun, dun I'm getting shivers right now. I was like, fuck yeah. But that like I said, that was that and like the Planet of the Apes are like still the coolest rebooting of franchises that I've seen so far.
And I'm still trying to figure, was Planet of the Apes, was it a prequel or a reboot? Like, are they still trying to like tie it into the other stuff?
Yeah, it does. It is.
Okay.
It's totally a reboot, but it ties into the original movies. Like it all talks about the ape flu and the astronauts that took off. It's all referenced. And the rising of Caesar and shit. It's all in there. It totally ties to the old movies.
Nice. Okay. Glad you put that in there. All right. So yeah, that's all we got to say about that. I like the movie. Go see it. I won't say IMAX. What I'm hearing is already like it's on pace to be the highest grossing sports movie of all time. That's what I'm hearing. Like not just Rocky, like any movie.
A sports movie.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about what sports movie like is like really like
better
big
than
numbers.
Better than basketball or
I like basketball. I like that movie. I don't know. I used to quote that movie a lot.
Better than Happy Gilmore?
Oh, see, now we're gonna talk about the Adam Sandler movies. Okay, they have a special place in my heart. So they probably didn't do box office numbers, but when we talk about movies, we quote. I'm gonna quote Happy Gilmore, and nope. That's not even Adam Sandler's best movie. Waterboy. Waterboy is his best sports movie, and I used to quote Waterboy from beginning to end. There's so many quotable scenes in Waterboy. Mama's right, Captain.
Who's that one? Wildcats. Wildcats with Goldie Hawn and little Wesley Snipes was in it.
Woody Harrelson was in it too, right?
Woody Harrelson and Bubba Gump. What's his name? Bubba Gump. He played
Michael T. Harris Williamson. I think.
Williamson, yeah. He's in it. Yeah, that's one of my faves.
Wildcats, okay. Waterboy is mine, so yes. Okay. Honestly, I'm not even counting the Rocky movies. I feel like it's cheating putting the Rocky movies in there because they like I said, as far as sports, they're like near and dear to my heart, you know. So, but yeah, where are we going next? I don't know what we're gonna talk about next. What is this? I don't know what is this. Oh, you're up next.
Am I?
Yeah.
Mando. We're talking Mando.
We're talking Mando. I almost started to talk about The Last of Us because the season finale just ended tonight, but we're not gonna do that. We're gonna talk about.
Oh,
Mando.
you didn't? Did you watch it yet?
Hell yeah, I watched it.
Oh, is it cool?
Yeah.
Okay.
I may talk about it. Talk about Mando. I may talk about The Last of Us very, 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 very briefly. Just
I haven't seen any of them. Everyone. I was like, fuck it. I missed it. Okay. It was a big ass joint, and everybody smoked it on me. So
it's cool. I'll briefly just but we on Mando. We on Mando's dick right now.
Mando episode 2 dropped. It was cool. I enjoyed it. Yeah. Oh, and then the Mythosaur. We got to see the Mythosaur. Remember last week I was just saying it was stupid that they made the Mythosaur extinct.
Yeah.
Well, now they're no longer extinct. That big water monster that dragged Mando down into the water, that was a Mythosaur.
Oh, that's what that was. Okay, yeah. I just thought it was
with the
monster.
Tusks. That's that skull that they got that they used to hunt back in the day as a rite of passage and shit. Well, looks like there's one surviving. Just proving that, Star Wars doesn't matter what the movies do anymore because now all they need to do is write themselves out of those rut that they're always
pretty much
retroactively fixing all their fuck ups. So I enjoyed it. I was talking to Anthony about it the other day. Back old Geek Savs homie, and he, the slightly misogynist, sexist Anthony. What the fuck? He's getting saved by this woman.
Oh shit! He's not on the MCU shit, is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, what the fuck? This baby's got to save him and shit. Like, yeah, I thought that was funny. So.
Oh man. Okay.
But no, I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. I thought like you said, it's pretty much the one thing that the one Star Wars things that everyone seems to like.
Yeah, that everybody agrees on. We like. There's there's no division. There's no division on Mando. We like it. That's it.
Yeah, it's got everything: space battles, action, lightsabers.
Pirates.
Yeah. He's got. They did. They made a dark saber. They made a lightsaber for the Mandos. So yeah, it had everything. Bo-Katan wielding the Mando or wielding the dark saber because she did. She used to have it back in the Rebels show.
Okay, so it's not like Thor's hammer where she can't pick it up. She can use it. She just
I don't know what they're doing. This whole thing that Mando isn't worthy of wielding it or some shit, which I think it's dumb, but whatever, But she won it. It was gifted to her back on the Rebels show. They gifted her the Darksaber, and that's how she was able to, lead the Mandalorians for a while until Moff Gideon took it or whatever. And yeah. So, but whatever. I thought it was still. I still thought it was cool. It actually had elements of horror, like when he goes into those caves and fights those monsters. And
Right,
shit.
fight monsters stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the monsters didn't have like a crazy Star Wars name. They just
I didn't.
okay.
I didn't recognize them. You know,
Okay.
I'm not that deep to recognize what those were.
Okay.
Those cave monsters, but
I'm sure they will break that down if they was in, you know, this. Okay.
yeah, I'm sure they might be. I didn't watch any of the Easter eggs, the you know, the Den of Geek Easter
Things
eggs
you may have missed in
I
Mandalorian.
didn't watch any of that. But I did see the Mythosaurs, and oh shit, the Mythosaurs is back. They're not extinct anymore. How convenient. So
yeah, I gotta watch the episode again because honestly, I was just watching that episode like, oh, cool, monster. They killed that guy. I wouldn't know what a mythosaur is. I've never heard that thing before. You said it the other episode before, so I like. So then I'm gonna go look for it again and be like, oh, what thing? Eli, you need to do a things you may missed in Mandalorian.
I probably could, yeah. Oh, they brought back R5D4. Like that was my
They did bring it back. Yeah, I thought they were gonna kill him again. So yeah.
And he's always been sort of. They must have fixed them because that's a callback to the original, the OG Star Wars movie, where that's the droid that Luke and Uncle Ben bought from the Jawas, but it broke.
Uncle Owen
had a bad motivator,
Uncle
and that's how they got R2.
You said Uncle Ben.
Did I say Uncle Ben? Oh, yeah. Uncle Owen.
A dead uncle. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Aunt Beru, Aunt May. Right. Aunt Ben Rue.
See, now I'm thinking like they gonna reboot it, make a hot Aunt Beru, you know. Alexander Daddario just show up in a nightgown or some shit. But yeah.
There was a comic book where I think the droid was like that R5 was actually force sensitive or whatever, and recognized R2, and that's why it fucked himself up. So R2 would end up with Luke or something. It was some stupid one-shot comic, you know. Probably not even
yeah. I thought there were rules in place for that, but like I said, it's Star Wars. They do what they want. So yeah. So all right, can I talk briefly about The Last of Us?
Sure.
It was awesome. I mean, that's all I can say. Look, here's the thing. Like, I love The Last of Us. I love it, but the thing is, it's so close to the video game. Like like the last episode was the last mission in the video game. Like it was just that, you know. So everybody is being shocked now is the way I was shocked 10 years ago. So that's why I'm just like, I'll catch up with this show when I get to, and I watch and be like, oh, there's some shit I already played. Okay, cool. So I don't feel like I'm as invested in the show as everybody else is, because I did play that game and I played the hell out of the game, and everything is everybody's shocked about is the same stuff I was shocked about a decade ago. So
yeah, I did see some scenes that wrecked that. Oh, I remember this from the game. You know,
I mean, they're taking dialogue, they're taking, and I will say this: it is fun watching them recreate those scenes with the same dialogue, with the same settings, you know, playing out the same things, stuff like that. Although my game plays a little bit differently, you know, where you know, Pedro Pascal just you on like a 9mm pistol shooting people. I had a flamethrower, you know.
I had the codes.
Exactly. I had one before I walked in. I knew there was a secret room in the back there. Go get the flamethrower, kill some zombies, stuff like that. Boom. So, you know, maybe it should be me playing the game. I wouldn't do that in the game, Joe. But yeah, that's me. But yeah, awesome. Watch it. It is hands down easily the best video game adaptation ever made. It's not even close. So I know people used to debate about that, Mortal Kombat, Sonic, whatever like that. No, it's Last of Us, everything else. So yeah. Which makes me more pissed off about that damn Uncharted movie. I saw that piece of shit movie again. I'm like, let's get rid of that. Let's go past that. What are we on now? Now we can both talk about. Well, hopefully we can talk about it. I don't know. We're gonna talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Eli, did you know they have a new movie coming out this year?
I saw the trailer.
You saw the trailer. And did you see the shit show that followed the trailer?
No, I did not. Is there a shit show?
It's always a shit show. Yes, it's always a shit show. Like I said, the thing is, I'm gonna just get down to the nitty-gritty of it. What are they mad about? They're mad about Black April, of course.
Oh,
you know.
I didn't even notice that. It was a teaser. Like I didn't even watch. I watched it once, probably on my phone.
That's what I did. I honestly, I didn't even watch the whole thing. I just saw, Ninja Turtles movie, Seth Rogen, skip, and that was it. That's all I saw from there. But of course, everybody else got, you know, upset, triggered, all stuff like that. Because not only is April black, she's body positive. So there's 2 checks. So yeah. So like I said,
no April ruined everybody's April O'Neil porn and shit.
Exactly. Exactly. Give me back my April,
Well, in the original comics, April didn't have red hair. April was like, she kind of had fuzzy.
Well, that was the 80s. She had a perm, which in the 80s, everybody had a perm.
She was a little bit more thick. We thought, me and my brother thought she kind of looked Puerto Rican. So,
well, let's go to it. That's what we're going to talk about. So we're going to talk about, before we get there, we do want to talk about how April is black now. But the thing is, this is not the first time April's black. She was black in an old TV show from 2012, I think, or something. It may have been even before then. She was black in that show. But just like what you said, Eli, let's look at the picture. Okay.
Yeah.
Does she look like a white woman in that picture?
Well, yeah, in color, when they colored it, because originally that wasn't in color.
And that's that. But let's go to black and white. So this is a segment we're doing right now. Has April O'Neil ever been black? When they make her black, was she always black to begin with? Because that is a big conspiracy theory going on right now. So let's talk about that right now. So this is a panel, black and white, back in the day. Now, what we have here is a black character in here, Baxter Stockman, even though they race changed him in the 80s cartoon, but he's black here. So we do see a difference in the complexion between Baxter Stockman and April O'Neil. So yeah, so back they just went nuts on Baxter Stockman. They just get charcoal crayons, just go nuts, So you can see a difference,
Yeah.
So we should be done, right? We're not. We're not done.
Not in this day and age.
Not in this day and age, because the thing is, April O'Neil is based on a real person.
Oh, I did not know that.
April O'Neil is based on a real person. Kevin, which one? Kevin East, which one was the artist? Kevin Leastman or Peter?
Well, one did pencils, one did inks.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, let's say Kevin Eastman. Yeah. I'm gonna just say Kevin Eastman. So Kevin Eastman's wife at the time was named April Fisher. That's who April O'Neil is based on.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So looking at her,
so he was married before he married Julie Strain, huh?
Yeah. This is before he got money, to buy cocaine and hookers. This is like when he was starting out.
Shit.
Exactly. This is when he was starting out. So he couldn't afford Julie Strain yet. This was like, now it's just me, Eli. Maybe I'm projecting. She looked like she got some melanin in her. That's just me. They look like some. Now I'm not saying she's black. I'm saying she's racially ambiguous. She could pass for certain things. It's just straight up just white, red haired, Irish stuff like that. I don't think so. I don't think I see it. Like I said, Kevin Eastman went for that. Then he did, upgrade to, porn stars and playmates, after he got money, as one would,
Yeah, this is what I remember her,
Now, see, that like a Jerry curl. That's what I'm saying. So this thing, so yes, so white women did have perms back in the 80s, but a white woman's perm and a black woman's perm, you can tell the difference.
And that's the thing, is that when the cartoon came on and we saw this redhead, we're like, that don't look like.
Right, they completely changed her, Yeah,
and she was a scientist. She wasn't a reporter. She was originally Baxter Stockman's assistant or whatever.
Right, yeah, and she knew computer shit and stuff like that. That's how they beat Baxter Stockman, because she started doing hacking shit. Donatello jumped in. They both did some hacking shit.
She helped develop the mousers, those little robot mouser that ate the mice in the sewers and shit.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, that reporter stuff, that's all came from the cartoon. But like I said, people just know the cartoon and that's it.
Yeah.
And people just like, well, a black person can't be named O'Neil. Bullshit. Ron O'Neal, Superfly, Shaquille O'Neal. The hell they talk. They making up. They making up straw man arguments. What they doing?
Come on, what's up, Doc? Can I rock?
Exactly. So you got all stuff right there. So let's think. So is April O'Neil black? Oh, I got one more thing I got to say also. Now, not only was April O'Neil based off, like I said, April Fisher, there was another popular '80s movie, that popularized perm. Like I said, we talk about Flashpoint. Flashdance. I always get those movies confused. Okay, so we got Flashdance. Now, let's be honest with you. Flashdance, and people's like, oh, we just copying Flashdance. That's nothing. Oh, I do want to say also that Flashdance, the end of the movie, the dance scene, that's a dude. So if you get excited about that, you know that. But here's the thing. When we talk about Flashdance, that was Jennifer Beal. Jennifer Beal is also biracial. People didn't know that at the time. She was passing. But you can tell now,
Yeah, she did look a little.
Can we talk about Jennifer Beal? This is what she looks like now. Can we talk about? Anyway,
she was in She was in Boba Fett, and then they killed her.
She
But I'm
was
sure,
the madam in Boba Fett, yeah.
but I'm sure they're gonna bring her back somehow. Because
Because they can do what they want. It's Star Wars.
they're just gonna write themselves out of the rut that they always do.
Somehow Jennifer Beal has returned.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's go on with that. So yeah, so people are saying they base April O'Neil off Flashdance. Well, she's biracial also. So I think they did now keep in mind we're saying all this now, but the more because the comics were in black and white, so it was all interpretation. It's just we just can't tell. Now when they start adding colors in it, doing the back issues and reprints, people did different things. Some people start making April black, some people start making April white. Overall, the redhead white April that kind of stuck when we read the last on it. That's what April was. She was redhead white by that time. You know? Yeah. But we can plan on something. Every time they come out with a Ninja Turtles thing, April is different. Like a different actress is playing April in the movie every time. The only one that's played it twice is Megan Fox or whatever.
Oh yeah.
So that's the only one. And she wore a yellow jacket thing.
Yeah, and they completely like redid the whole
yeah, she named the turtles and stuff like that. But they can do that because the thing is, the Ninja Turtles is such a new property that it's not like Superman and Batman or Spider-Man, where it's like everything is concrete. You can't change this, can't change that. Ninja Turtles is still new enough. You can kind of reinterpret it to whatever you want, you know. And like, plus, yeah.
I think Eastman still has a say in all that shit.
Yeah, because he didn't have a say in the 80s cartoons, so he wrote in his contract, you're like, no. Anytime, like even when he sold it to Nickelodeon, he like, I still have say so in what you do.
Oh, that's right. He did sell it. And then
but
then they brought him on. They brought him on as a consultant at some point.
Yeah. So they sold it and got rid of it. So in Paramount, they all make the movies like now. But the main thing we need to understand, for all the people that are getting upset about whatever they're doing with the Turtles, they're not making the movies for us. They're making the movies for 10-year-olds. They're trying to get new people to get these movies. So yeah, so if you get mad because some shit didn't happen in 1985 the way you thought it was, they're not making for motherfuckers that watched this shit back in 1985.
Yeah, because I remember I remember everybody bitching about that Nickelodeon show where they were all skinny and shit, and it was like CGI, and they're all skinny and didn't look like anything like any design before, and everyone bitched about it. But that show was great.
And you know what? Kids love that show.
Yeah,
like
my kid
it was very popular. Kids love that show. Yeah, so we complain about it.
She was into it. Yeah, she got into it. There's an episode where they first try pizza. It's great.
Right. And then they had another show after that one where they had like superpowers and shit. You know, it took some getting used to, but I was
There's so many of them. There's so many incarnations.
They just do whatever they want. Yeah. You know, that's the thing. So.
But but once it comes, that's the thing is people. Once it comes to the movies, that's the real shit. That's what people.
That's canon, you know.
That's for the hardcore fan, and that's how it always is. You know, movies are usually the watered down, dumbed down version of something cool
because you're selling it to the masses. You know.
Yeah, it's got to be marketed and homogenized and run on some basic level that people can understand.
Right. So, and we've seen this happen because the first Ninja Turtle movie, like the one from the 1990, that movie was awesome. You know? Yeah. And that stuck really close to the comic too. Yeah, because the thing was they couldn't use the cartoon to take an adaptation from. So they could only use the comic.
Yeah.
So that's what they did. But the thing was when it came out back then, people were complaining, oh, it's too violent, it's too much swearing. They're like, it's supposed to be, it's too dark, too gritty. Yeah. Like, yeah, that's the Ninja Turtles. You know? So then they started doing Vanilla Ice in the second movie and other bullshit. The third,
they're not even using their weapons in the second movie.
Right? They're like slapping people like in the back.
Using like Michelangelo's using pepperoni sticks with his first.
Yeah, because they didn't want them to use their weapons in there. Like, like that. I can't watch this shit. You know, in my mind, the second one and third one they don't exist. They're non-canon. They. So that should be like when I went in there and saw Vanilla Ice in there, I was like, why am I here? What if you look how they massacred my boys, my turtles? But see, I can complain about that then because I was a teenager. You know,
yeah, I mean, I saw the comics before the cartoon. When I first saw the cartoon, I'm like, what the fuck is this shit?
Right. But you know what? Kevin Eastman did not give a fuck because he was doing too much cocaine at the time, banging too many hookers. He was like, look.
But it was for kids. Like I was 14. So I was like, I had already heard of the comics, 14, 15. So I was a little bit too old for the cartoon, but my little brothers and nephews, they got into it. So I'm like, okay, cool. And then, my brother had already read a bunch of the comics.
Yeah.
Because
I had never heard of the comics at the time I saw the cartoon, and I heard there were comics out there. So like, let me go research the shit. Read the comics. I'm like, whoa, this is way different from the cartoon.
Yeah. And I was like, they got Ninja Turtle toy. And I bought Ninja Turtle toys just because. That's, I'm just going to buy them because they're pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, but what you going to do? You can't, and you get mad at Kevin Eastman, like, okay, are you going to sell your soul and make kitty cartoons and shit like that? But if you do in exchange, you get to bang Julie Strain. I mean,
rest in peace, Julie Strain. Yeah.
Right. So you got to make a decision. But yeah. All right. So like I said, we let's move on to the next part of the podcast. I think we've hit all our major points. Okay. Like I said, this is Comic Book Bullies, where we talk about comic books, and we're just going to jump into it. Then let's go first. I think you got some good ones this week.
Do I?
Hopefully. It was a lot of shit that came out this week. I didn't read everything, but and some of the shit you read, I actually wanted to know about. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll since I already got this image up, well, shit, I'll just do this X-23.
That's the one I was deciding, should I get this X-23? So glad you picked it up.
Maybe you should have, because you probably know the lore, the X lore more than
I don't know the X-23 lore.
Me neither. I mean, I know of her. I'm aware of her.
I know she's a thing that exists. That's about it.
Yes, I'm aware of her as a concept.
Right.
Yeah. But this is her. Since it's a book, I forget. It's got a different title.
Deadly Regenesis. Because I think there was a Deadly Genesis book that was Wolverine, like OG Wolverine. I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I did not know that. I was not aware of that.
Symbolism, all that. But yeah.
But basically, she's on her own. She's in Minneapolis. You can see her. She's in Minneapolis. She's walking across the Stone Arch Bridge.
I was going to say, does any of that look familiar? Okay.
Yes, that's why I took this snapshot. She's walking across the Stone Arch Bridge, which is in Minneapolis. So whoever wrote this or is drawing it, they either been here or Google something. So she's trying to, Laura, X-23, the clone of Wolverine, kind of sort of his daughter. She is like trying to, I guess soul searching. She's on her own, trying to find a purpose in her life. And she's talking about how she was basically developed to be a weapon, an assassin, a killer. And she's kind of trying to run away from that past and, trying to do good. Never thought of herself as a hero, but then she comes across a building that's on fire. She goes in and saves a bunch of people, saves some people. Of course, she gets all burned up, and then she heals. She comes out all burning up and on fire, but she heals. She can heal. This, of course, gets the attention of the media. This girl ran into this burning building and rescued some people. So now
she's a hero.
Yeah. So now who's this girl who ran into the burning building and rescued people? What the fuck was her name? An enemy. A villain. I can't remember her name.
When she fought before? Met before?
I think so. She's like, oh, there she is.
Somebody had been looking for the whole time.
Yeah. Oh, there's X-23. She did something. She took off, she's in Minneapolis. Hey, Haymaker or whatever. Some dude. Another villain that they're developing. He's like some enhanced MMA fighter named Haymaker. They go find X-23. He's like, all right, and then to be continued. That's all it is. Pretty straightforward shit. I art was pretty cool. Your basic, Wolverine, kind of like the Wolverine motif. Am I an animal or am I human? That's what she's searching for her humanity.
Right. What is her true nature?
Yeah. She's been bred to kill, and now she wants to bury that past and find her humanity. I'm trying to figure out what this chick's name is. Where the hell is she? I have her, but I'm trying to find her name. What do they name her? I know they named her Kimura. Kimura? Does that ring any bells?
I think so. I think so.
Here, I'll pull up this chick. No? Yes? No? Maybe so?
Maybe?
She's like, yeah, basically tracking her. This chick named Kimura is tracking her. And yeah. They find footage of her in Minneapolis rescuing people from a fire. So they're like, hey, this dude named Haymaker, go get her. And that's where, and he's an enhanced MMA fight. It shows footage of him like MMA fighting in a cage, like cage fighting and shit. So he can kick ass, and he goes, and I guess he's gonna go find her and fight her. So cool. I thought it was pretty cool, I don't know if I'm going to continue it or I might just wait for it to show up on Marvel. But I mean,
let me ask you: is she still in Minneapolis?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, so she didn't like haul ass out of there. I guess.
Yeah, she doesn't know anybody's after her. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess the whole book is going to take place there. Then I guess.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
Pretty cool.
We'll see how the week. Like I bought it just because it seemed like a slow week. There wasn't much that I was into, so I was like, I'll check it out. It was kind of like a spur of the moment. I'll give it a whirl. It's a number 1. I'll drop in real quick.
Yeah, because. Why are they calling it X-23 again? I thought but I guess it don't matter. It's whatever.
Honey Badger, or no, that's
the other clone. The
other clone.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gabby or whatever.
Yeah. She didn't show up in this book?
No. It's all Laura.
She'll show up. She'll be there eventually.
Mm-hmm.
We like Honey Badger right here. Okay.
So I'll give it a 3 out of 5. It was pretty cool.
I was expecting better, but okay. Maybe to pick up. Maybe to pick up from there.
I mean, it's not bad. It's just, the art's solid. I mean, it's I didn't dislike it. I don't know enough about the lore to like, like I didn't know who Kimura was. I don't, so maybe somebody who does would have went, oh shit. I didn't have any of those moments. I never heard of Haymaker, so.
Nothing really connect with it, so I feel you on that. So, maybe it was something from that Tom Taylor run that he wrote.
Maybe.
I guess. So anyway, speaking of Tom Taylor,
oh shit, I did read this.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Okay, so yes, this is a Tom Taylor book. This is Adventures of Superman, John Kent. So everybody that's upset about, not upset, but they're happy that the John Kent book got canceled. Guess what? They relaunched it. It's back again. I guess they're just doing like one extra story on it just to see exactly what's going on. But yeah, it's here. So the thing I like about this book that Tom Taylor wrote it, and this whole book feels like a Tom Taylor's love letter to Tom Taylor. I'll explain it. I'll explain it what I'm saying.
I can see that. Yeah.
Let's get to it. Let's see what we got. So yeah. All right. So the book is going on. It starts off with Superman, and he's basically on the run. Metropolis has been destroyed. He's barely able to get away. He's weak for some reason, and he's saying he's getting weaker. And he turns around, and it is Ultraman. And of course, if you don't know who Ultraman is the evil Superman from Earth 3, from the crime syndicate. So he's there, and he just beats the shit out of this Superman. And he like say the last word you always say. And he picks him up. He's like, Lois. He like, so predictable. And then heat visions him away. The reason he can heat vision this Superman, because apparently he has something that can weaken Superman or Kal-El, And so he's done, and he just holds his Superman cape, and then he just teleports out of there. He like, on to the next one. And meanwhile, we look in the background, it's the Daily World, letting you know this is a multiverse. It's a different universe, not our universe. Meanwhile, we go to our universe, Earth Zero, where you see the Daily Planet, And basically we see John, and he's happy because his secret identity has been put back in place. Meanwhile, his secret identity has been put back in place. His boyfriend Jay's secret identity is still out, so everybody still knows who he is. So anyway, he's just like, look, but I'm glad that you're safe, and I'll be Superman's boyfriend. It doesn't matter. But they look up and they see a shooting star, but it's not a shooting star. John uses X-ray vision, and he realizes it is a satellite falling. So since nobody's looking, nobody's around, and the other super people are conveniently off-world, so Don't ask about them. Tom Taylor don't want to deal with them. They're gone. You know, it's just John. So John turns to Superman, flies off, and he looks up. He calls Oracle, and he says, "Call the Titans," because I guess he's on the Titans now. I guess I don't know if he is. Whatever. Anyway, he looks up there. Somebody has hacked into Maxwell Lord's satellites, all of them, and basically crashing them to Earth. So okay, I got to hurry up and take them down. So he's flying up them, smashing them all. Meanwhile, some of the Titans are getting the other ones. He flies to Africa to take some of them down. Meanwhile, he realized he's not fast enough to take down every single satellite. They're not going to make it. While he's doing that, his electric boogaloo powers that, you know, the old Superman Blue from the 90s had, he has it now because of the Lazarus planet. So he still has those powers. So, yeah. And then they go away. And he keeps flying. So he still goes smashing satellites, trying to stop them before they hit the ground. And meanwhile, while he's doing that, somebody's telling him, "I got you, Superman. Don't worry about that." And he looks up, and it is Superman. But not that Superman, Val Zod Superman from Earth 2, the one that Tom Taylor created for the Earth 2 comics. So, yeah. I'll get into it also because I read that whole Earth 2 run, so I know about Val Zod. He's like, "Don't worry," but he's never met Val Zod before, so he doesn't know who he is. He's like, "What the hell are you doing?" So he smashes the last satellite, and they're talking. He's just like, "Nice to meet you. I'm Val Zod." He's like, "You're Val who?" Yo, like, "Oh, I forgot. Zod is a bad guy on your planet, so don't worry. I'm one of the good Zods. So don't worry about it. So I got somebody that can back up my story. Just come with me, and we'll figure it out." So they go fly. They talk it out, and they were like, "I'm glad you didn't hit me when you first saw it." He's like, "Yeah, that whole fighting superheroes fighting each other, that looks bad on both of us." So they go to, I guess, his house, and you see Mr. Terrific. Now, this is not an alternate universe Mr. Terrific. This is regular universe Mr. Terrific. Mr. Terrific got trapped in Val Zod's universe for a while, and that's why they know each other. You know, so they go back, and then there's Red Tornado, and they don't notice at the time, but if you read the Earth 2 comic, Red Tornado is Lois Lane. Her body got transferred into that robot body because she died, basically. So they're basically talking out to get everybody caught up, and they're telling them about Ultraman. And they're shocked that John knows Ultraman because Ultraman is the Superman, or the version of Superman that kidnapped him, tortured him, and beat him for 5 years on Earth 3. He trapped him, so he knows who he is. Meanwhile, Lois finally finds out that, you know, Red Tornado is her from an alternate universe. And basically the thing that they're trying to do is that they have to make sure they waited for a Superman like Kal-El to leave the planet, because they know if they come there and Kal-El is there, he's going to try to find a way to come with them. So now he's off planet, they can just get John to do it, because whatever machine that Ultraman has is tailored specifically to Kal-El's genetics. So any other Superman can fight him, but it can't be Kal-El. And they're like, "Well, we're sorry, but you have to fight your monster." To be continued, face to face with Ultraman. So that's the thing that's going on right now. So yeah, I'm excited for this book. After I read that, I'm excited for this book because, like I said, we got Jonathan Kent, who Tom Taylor put all his work into. He created Val Zod. He pretty much wrote the good parts of that Earth 2 storyline, and that's not even the big thing about it. They've already teased that Injustice Superman is going to show up here later on. So eventually, Ultraman is going to fight Injustice Superman.
Well, that's what I was saying. It's the road to injustice or some shit.
Yeah, so eventually it's going to pop up. So basically, that's what I'm saying. It's a love letter. It's Tom Taylor's love letter to Tom Taylor, because it's all of Tom Taylor's stuff that he's did before, you know, up in one book. I'm surprised X-23 hadn't showed up in here yet. You know, he may be referenced it later on. You never know. So, yep. That's all I got. I'm gonna get this book. I'm gonna give it a strong 4 out of 5. I may even give the other books following that stronger than that, because it's off to a really good start. So,
all right, cool.
Yep.
What do I got next? Oh, I'm done with Marvel. Oh, I guess I'll do Batman and Joker.
You're not done with Marvel, but yeah.
I am. Oh, no, I'm not. Well, oh, that's right. I am doing it. I'll fuck it.
It counts. It counts.
Oh, fuck it. Yeah, since I'll get my Marvel out of the way. This will be Predator, the new Predator arc, number 1.
So did they put it under that new imprint yet? That Fox 20th Century, whatever.
Did they? I don't
know. I don't know if they did. Now that I think about it, I think Planet of the Apes will be the first one to do it with.
Marvel. It still says Marvel.
Okay. Because I think when Planet of the Apes come out, from then on, like Predator and Alien, they're gonna be under the 20th century, whatever.
Well, this kind of goes hard. It has a parental advisory on it. This is definitely not for kids. There's a lot of hard gore and violence in this. Which
That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking when they go to that new imprint, like the gloves are coming off.
Yeah. So it'll be like Max or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as you can see, we see a predator chopping a guy in half, and in all bloody gory glory, all gory glory. So this is the new arc. Basically, it's kind of like that movie, The Predator or Predators, the one where they're all in the forest, like the remake or whatever.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Not the Arnold's one, but the one with like
Adrian Brody
and all those guys. It's kind of like that. A bunch of like mercenaries and soldiers and badasses are like find themselves in some forest. They're being chased by predators. It's just a long. This whole issue is just a long chase action scene. Bunch of them are getting killed in very gory ways. They're getting heads ripped off and ripped apart and shit. Predators are just picking them off. There's a scene where like the crates fall from the sky, just like in that movie, and they go and get them, and then they get attacked by those predator dogs. And yeah, it's just like, and then there's a little exposition where they're like, "Hey, where are you from? Oh, I'm a soldier in this army. I'm a soldier from that army. Blah 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 blah." They're all over, telling kind of where they are. But then here's the kicker: they're all from different times. I'm from 1987. I'm from 2018. I'm from whatever, different time. I'm from 1998 or whatever. So there's time travel now in the Predator mythology. And then at the end, two of the characters from the last story arc. What was her name? Theta or Thera or whatever. Anyway, in the last story arc, when Marvel first took over Predator, there was the first story arc was about a girl whose parents got killed by predators on some planet that they were terraforming. And she was a little girl at the time, and she spent the next like 20 years hunting predators, trying to find the one predator that killed her family. And he was missing one of his tusks. So that's the first story arc. She finally gets her revenge. She kills the predator that killed her family, but she knows all about the predators. She stole a ship. She knows where they hunt. She knows where they go. They're mapping all their maps and shit, all their, their whole hunting seasons and all that shit. So she knows how to work all their tech. And she ends up getting revenge on the predator that killed her family. That was the first arc. So at the end of this book, all these mercenaries running around the woods getting hunted by predators, they all of a sudden meet her and the dude. She ends up meeting a guy in the last arc. So they're from like 100 years in the future. So yeah.
They didn't bring any future tech with them, anything like that? Or?
Yeah, they still got, she's all loaded up with predator gear and shit.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's kind of where it ends. I was like, that's pretty cool. I don't know how to feel about the time travel thing, like whatever. But I'm like, if you're gonna do that, where the fuck is Naru, man?
Right.
Bring Naru up in this shit.
Well, they didn't have Dutch Schaefer in there either, so yeah. Danny Glover's not in there. So
yeah, and I was a little disappointed because Enoch Nakai, he's another native character that was a reoccurring. He was in the old Dark Horse comics. He's actually a reoccurring character in the Dark Horse comics, and he was like a native. He was like Navajo, and he was a soldier and shit. And he fought a bunch of predators and shit. So I was a little like, oh, it would be cool if they. I was hoping that Marvel would bring him back because he's still, in my opinion, one of the coolest native comic characters ever. So I was hoping they would bring him back, but so far, no. But, this is pretty fun. It's just a solid, action movie or action comic referencing a shitty Predator movie. But yeah, they even mentioned the 2018, like, I'm from that facility and that one shitty movie.
Oh, that's one you told me not to watch, so I never
yeah,
watched
yeah,
it. So.
The Predator, the 2018 or 2019 or whatever it was.
Yeah, the Living Moment. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, hey, I used to work in that facility or blah, 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 back in 2018. And like, oh shit. So they're referencing all the time periods in all the movies. Like, where the fuck is the room? But yeah, I know I dug on this. I'll give it a 4 out of 5. So far, Marvel has been doing Predator comics pretty cool.
Okay. And you were worried.
Yeah, and I was worried. So
okay. All right. So next book we're going to do is, since you did Deadly Regenesis, I'm going to do an X-Men book, which is X-Men. Yeah.
Okay.
Now I wasn't going to do this. I go ahead, spoiler. The reason I'm reviewing this book, I was not going to review this book at first, but I'm doing it now was because there was an image that Marvel leaked themselves of Kingpin coming to Krakoa. And I wanted to answer the question, like, how the hell is Kingpin crossing the gates going to Krakoa? Nobody can answer that question for me. So I was like, damn, I wish there was a podcast out there that would review this book so I can, find out how he came to Krakoa. And I realized there isn't one, so I guess I need to do it myself. So here I go. So yeah, I'm going to reveal how the Kingpin got to Krakoa, even though the storyline has nothing to do with Kingpin going to Krakoa. It's about the Brood. So yeah, it's about the Brood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a Brood book. So the book starts off. So basically what's going on in the last couple of X-Men books, the Brood have been attacking people all over space and shit like that. But the thing is, the leader of the Brood lives in Krakoa. And he basically already said, don't worry, the Brood is under my control. So what I can do is let me know what I want them to do, and I'll get control of the Brood. So he was the Brood to the X-Men. So he's chilling, relaxing, and that's when Magic and Jean Grey shows. He's like, hey, what y'all doing here? He was like, yeah, the Brood are out of control. I thought you said you had control of the Brood. They're like, I do have control of the Brood. Matter of fact, I can show you right now I have control of the Brood. He got some Brood sleeping behind him. He wakes them up, and he like, watch this. It makes him start doing the Thriller dance. And he was like, how do they know the Thriller dance? He was like, they know what I know. Like, we are a hive mind. I control them exactly how I want to. So Magic just started dancing with them too, started doing the Michael Jackson Thriller dance. And Jean Grey's is like, okay, something's not right here. You know what? I need to pick it to your mind and see exactly what's going on in there. And Bruce is like, what if I say no? And Jean's like, I wasn't asking. And then boom, there you go. Meanwhile, the X-Men are at some in another planet that's being attacked by the Brood. The planet's called Refugee Rock or whatever. So they're trying to get all the refugees out of here before they get attacked by the Brood. They do it, and Cyclops sees his father, who was attacked by the Brood in like the 2 issues before, something like that. He's like, hurry, get the people on the ship so we can get the hell out of here. So as they do, Iceman, basically cannot be killed at this point. All they do is just piss him off, and he turns one of them into ice, like from the inside out. And while they get out of here, Iceman just makes like a huge wall. He's like, everybody's got out of here. Don't worry about me. Just go. And they were like, don't worry, we'll come back for you. And when they get ready to come back for him, they turn around, and he's like a miniature Ant-Man sized Iceman. And he's like, don't worry, shrinkage happened to everybody. I'll grow when we get more moisture, So, and that's the thing. So the X-Men hightail it out of there, and they get all these refugees on the ship, and they just like, we just got to get out of here before we crash, whatever. Meanwhile, Forge, don't care. Not that I don't like Forge, but it's about a storyline that don't get shit to do with what we're talking about right now. Meanwhile, Jean Grey is in Brood's mind, and she sees him, how he's controlling the Brood. And basically what happened, the Brood still need to feed and still need to eat and everything like that. So instead of just randomly attacking people, he only sends them after bad guys. Anybody that's a bad guy, he sends the Brood after him. So he kind of like aims them, kind of like Morbius. Well, not the movie, the comic, where he attacks bad people. So they, everywhere he goes, the universe praises him, stuff like that. They think he's doing a good thing. And it's like, cool. So yeah, like I told you, I control the Brood's every waking move. You're like, that's cool. But what about when you sleep? You're like, what? And then she makes him go to sleep. And while he sleeps, that's when she hears like this evil maniacal laugh. And it turns out it's Nightmare. Nightmare's back. Jean Grey kicked his ass back in issue 5. Nightmare. He hasn't forgotten. Yep. He's riding his evil horse and shit like that. And yeah, he's like, I came to get revenge. Once I heard that a kid was going to the Brood, that's just too easy. So basically, anytime Kid Brood sleeps, Nightmare takes control of the Brood and just have the Brood just do whatever the fuck they wants them to do. And basically he's like, and not only this, I'm gonna make the Earth's nightmare the worst thing. I'm gonna control the Brood, have them do whatever I want them to do. And when they attack the galaxy, I'm gonna make sure that they know that Earth sent the new annihilation wave to them, and they're gonna hate you and destroy you. You know, and that's my revenge to the X-Men. He like, the X-Men will stop you and slap shit out of them. X-Men ain't gonna do shit. You know, I control everything that's going on. Matter of fact, the X-Men are doing my bidding right now. That refugee camp they just rescued, they've all been infected by the Brood. So when they bring them back, the Brood is going to attack everybody, not just ships that just cross by their path. They're going to go nuts and attack everybody. They're going to take over every planet. They're going to swarm the universe. And that's when it's just like, and matter of fact, the X-Men won't be able to stop me because they have bigger fish to fry. They got their own monster to worry about. And as we get this call from Sage, it's like, we got an issue. We got a mutant that's never been here before. They just crossed the path, and they brought their husband with them too. And Emma Frost is like, look, unless it's Dr. Doom's wife or some other supervillain named Doctor, just give him a room and show him around, stuff like that.
I was about to say, who the fuck is Emma Frost married to?
Right. She does. They just know a supervillain is on the plot right there. She like, it's not Dr. Doom, but I kind of wish it was Dr. Doom. And that's when you got Typhoid Mary flipping around, stuff like that. And what do we now? Typhoid Mary was created in the 80s. Look at her hairstyle. Not black, but she got the rocking a big ass perm. I thought she's not, but she's rocking a big ass perm. That's the thing. That's the thing. So Typhoid Mary is here. He's just like, Mary likes you, and she kisses her for some reason. And that's when just like, tell Emma Frost I have arrived. That's when you get Wilson Fisk rocking the same Hawaiian shirt.
Oh, that's right. She was married to her.
Yeah, they're still married. Yeah. So he's just like, and Typhoid Mary is a mutant. You know, I don't know if that's been established or a thing, but anyway, she's a mutant. She got a power. So Kingpin is like, well, if she's a mutant and I'm married to Typhoid Mary, I have asylum in Krakoa. So since everybody and their mom is looking for me right now, I seek refuge in Krakoa. Here's my thing though. Typhoid Mary's a mutant. She walked through the gates. No big deal. How the hell is Kingpin walking through the gates? I was just
about to say, I thought
he can't walk through the gates. They just, what the hell is going on here? And everybody I ask, nobody's giving me the right answer. They're like, well, just read the book.
I thought humans couldn't go to Krakoa.
Humans can't go to Krakoa. And just because you married a mutant doesn't mean you have the right to go to Krakoa. You can't go there unless like they let you go there.
But is he a Brood?
But the Brood can't go through either.
Okay. Yeah. I thought the Brood can like turn into like motherfuckers and shit.
No. They like infect motherfuckers. But even if they infect him, he's not a human, and he's just a human, so he still can't walk through the gates. Right. So yeah, this is a big retcon. Hopefully somebody will explain this because this is really irritating me, really irking me. I don't like when they set rules and just change rules.
Well, is a shapeshifter? Is it fucking Mystique or some shit? Or I don't know.
It better be. Because this just pisses me off anyway. And Emma Frost finds out the Kingpin is in Krakoa. She's like, fuck my lives. The end. So, and then they show Kingpin's reward that he has on his head right now. He got a $250,000 reward on his head right now from Interpol. They knew I could catch him. So that's my thing. So yeah, so the whole reason is it gonna be something stupid like he bought some mutant DNA from Reed or some shit and injected. I hope like Mr. Sinister or some shit.
Something, like he bought something from somebody.
Like I really hope they explain it because they just let him just walk. Because that's the whole point of Krakoa. You just can't walk through the gate. It's just because
like even I know that. I'm not into the X-Men, but even I know that.
Yeah, like Typhoid Mary can walk through, but he can't walk through. But they better explain that shit. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting too upset about it. Maybe nobody else cares, but I'm getting
bullshit.
Fuck this book. You know, like, I really am like, fuck this book. You set the rule and you just change the rules. So, yeah.
This is the Hell Hydra of the 2020s.
Cap the most controversial X-Men book of
Secret Empire or whatever the fuck.
Oh, man. All right. So, what else you got?
Batman and the Joker. Deadly Duo number 5.
Okay. Let's see.
Art and writer. Writing and art by Mark Silvestri.
Okay.
So that's the big selling point. The art is dope. The writing's all right.
Like a 90s image comic, but yeah.
Yeah, it definitely getting a lot of 90s vibes as far as the writing. but Mark Silvestri, he's one of my favorite artists. So I was like, that's the selling point. And here's just a scene of Batgirl beating the fuck out of the Joker, just cause.
Because of the shit he did, right?
Yeah. So this is a Black Label book, so it's not in continuity. It's just a standalone Elseworlds story of Batman. Basically, someone has been cloning these mutant Joker zombie things, and they're running around Gotham killing motherfuckers and leaving Joker DNA. Joker's been like, yo, I didn't do this shit. So basically, Joker teams up with Batman, hence the deadly duo. Batman has to work with the Joker.
Right, not the dynamic duo, the deadly duo.
The deadly duo. So that's what Joker wants to clear his name, and he needs Batman's help. So they're trying to figure out who the hell is cloning these mutant zombie Joker things. It starts out there was a wedding that the Joker blew up, and Batman tried to save a bunch of people died and shit. So he's remembering that shit. But the guy who the wedding or whatever, he was like a scientist who was doing a bunch of DNA cloning, splicing, sci-fi shit. There's a big, huge word exposition dump of him explaining. It was really boring. Him explaining all the sci-fi jargon shit that got boring after a while. But basically, this guy was doing like cloning, experimenting shit. But now he's dead. He's dead now. He died in this wedding. Meanwhile, these zombie Joker things kidnapped Gordon. So Gordon, they're trying to find Gordon. That's where this scene comes in, where Batgirl finds out that Batman's been working with the Joker. You know.
She didn't know that.
She didn't know. She's like, we gotta find my dad. We gotta find my dad. And then she goes, finds like the Joker. Like, what the fuck? You're working with Batman? You know, what the hell, Bruce? You're working with the Joker. What the hell? So she grabs the Joker's like, where's my father? Because all the DNA points to the Joker, and Joker's like, I don't know, but she just beats the fuck out of him. So Batman goes underground, and then there's another long exposition dump of the history of Gotham and these secret subways and a church, a cathedral that never finished. And that's where he goes and finds like all these dead corpses at like a wedding. So basically all the people that died at that dude's wedding are all in this like abandoned, unfinished cathedral, and their corpses are all propped up. It's actually pretty fucking cool and creepy, you know, as far as like horror. It's a cool scene, and Silvestri's artwork is dope. So all these like corpses are in a church, like for a wedding, and their bodies are all propped up and shit. And then it turns out that dude's daughter is the one, I think, because the dude was using his daughter's DNA or something to make these Joker zombie things. So she shows up and she's all in a bride gown, or like we call it the bride dress, wedding dress or whatever. She's all in a wedding dress, and she's all zombified and all creepy looking, and like it's that dude's daughter. So that's kind of like the big reveal, I think, that it's this dude's daughter that's been making these Joker things, I think. All that wordy shit gotten a little boring. So that's my one thing. I'll get this a 3.5 out of 5 just because it was like that lull. It's been all action and all this cool shit going on, but this is the one where, okay, we're going to explain everything. And it was just long, very wordy, bunch of, a lot of text in this book. But the ending was pretty cool. That whole scene of all the fucking dead wedding or whatever was pretty cool. The art was dope. But yeah, kind of like the big reveal. So this is like, I think there's like 2 more issues left in this. So I think they're finally going to have the big action battle and shit. So, yeah, so I guess 3.5 out of 5, just because it got a little wordy. A lot of text. But the art is dope. So
nice. All right. So last book I'm going to do is Amazing Spider-Man 21. That's the last book I'm going to do. Now, the reason I'm doing this Amazing Spider-Man 21 because they're saying this is supposed to be the story. It's supposed to be the one.
21, you said?
Yeah, it took them that long, like
2 years to get to
2 years
the
to
story.
do this, the story, right? The thing they hinted at the very first issue about why everybody hates Spider-Man and why does Mary Jane have kids like that. This is supposed to explain it. It doesn't, but they're saying it's supposed to be a story that sets it up for that. So
Well,
yeah,
good job to you for waiting that long.
Honestly, I'd forgotten about it. I just when they just said it, I was just like, oh yeah, that was a thing. Let me just figure out what the hell's going on. So yeah, let's see about that. So yeah, Spider-Man and Mary Jane, what the hell is going on with them? The story that you have been waiting for. So yeah. So basically goes through actually present day. So as it gets you up with actually what's going on with Peter Parker. So if you don't know what's going on with Peter Parker, he works for Norman Osborn, works for Oscorp. And he's late for work, of course, but Norman realized he's a dumbass, so he expects him to be late. Meanwhile, Mary Jane has kids and a husband, and they get ready for school. And yeah, they go off their own day. I like how it parallels each other. Yeah. Meanwhile, a storm comes out of nowhere, and she just like, oh no, he's back. The Scribble Man. I'm like, who? So apparently I don't know if he's a new thing or a thing that's been there before, but apparently the Scribble Man is back. And that's what Mary Jane is telling him. Oh no, he's back. We're in danger. And yeah, cut to 1 year earlier. So we go to Rikers Island. And that's when you got this dude. That's a Scribble Man right there. And he's got like a cult and he's killed his cult. And he's got one guy left. He like, I will sacrifice your life to Way Up or some shit. By blood sacrifice, and he kills him. And when he kills him, that's when he hears Mary Jane and Peter talking. He's like, oh, it's them. Okay. So he just teleports to them, and apparently this shit happened back in Amazing Spider-Man 864, 34. Well, I can't read that right now, but whatever. Anyway, he blows it up and just said, like, you are the chosen ones or some shit. So he blows away the door, stuff like that. And like, one of you must die, one of you must be held with vengeance or some shit. So he smacks Peter, smacks across the room, thinks he kills him because I don't think he knows he's Spider-Man. He just knows he's just some dude in his way. Grabs Mary Jane. Before he can do anything, Spider-Man like throws a piece of the wall at him and then knocks him like, get your hands off her. Throws out of there. And then he's like, you got my spare suit? It's in the bottom drawer. Go get it. So while he falls, he just falls to the ground. That's it. And when he slams to the ground, just blows up a car and shit like that, Spider's like, oh, thank God you're okay. I was worried, And he's like, you will be sacrificed, but to the God. Up and Spider-Man webs him up. His mouth. He's like, oh, shut the hell up. Do you know what you just did? That young lady's apartment you just trashed. Her boyfriend was about to move in, and you destroyed that. So he just starts this wail on his ass. He's like, oh, I'm not finished talking. And he's like, keeps punching on him. And that's when he's like, okay, are you done fighting? He's like, yeah, I'm done fighting. That's it. So, but that's when he like does some weird mama jama voodoo shit to Peter. And apparently this is a flashback to another book I didn't read with Spider-Man, to the God Way Up. And he's like, yeah. So he curses Peter. And then he goes and he said, oh, I already cursed the other one. So then Mary Jane looks at her hand and she realized she got some weird marking on her also. And that's when they get teleported, both of them, to, I don't know, somewhere. Look like New York, but like a fucked up version of New York.
Fucked up version of New York?
Yeah. Because I see what's that, the Flatiron or some shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that may very well be like Avengers Mansion back there, or Avengers Tower back there, But yeah, that's it. So basically none of the questions I had, none of the answers that I wanted got answered. So I'm back to square one. I still do not know. If anything, I'm more confused now than what I was before I bought this book. So thank you, Marvel. I don't know. I guess I'll figure out what's going on. I guess I'll stay with it because I feel like I got to know at this point. I could just wiki to some shit or just follow Gomer's podcast. I know he'll tell me.
I'm surprised you're still on this because I know you're not.
I wasn't. I dropped this book a year. I haven't been keeping up with this book. I just saw this is when it happens. It's like, just see what happens.
I know it's got your boy Romita on the.
and John Romita, but I'm giving credit. John Romita, He has good layouts. He knows how to frame action.
Paid his dues.
Yes, I'm not hating John.
Even though he's a junior. No, I'm just
what the hell? We're canceled. Good night, Gracie. So
no, I never minded Ramita.
I hated Ramita's art before, but like it was like some Superman book he wrote. Him and Bendis wrote a Superman book, and I like this is the most god awful shit I ever read in my life. But this one,
well, that's got to be pretty recent because
yes, it is.
Bendis
it's like
Superman,
yeah. That's about like the last run. I was like, I can't read this. I got to drop this shit. So yeah. So it's not bad. He's doing Spider-Man. Like hell, he pretty much like was one of the first like big Spider-Man artists after like Ditko and his dad. He was like other like big one after that. But yeah. So all right. So what you got?
No, I'm booked out.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Well, I did read the New Mutants, but I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
The Lethal Legion.
Yeah, I didn't. It was a bunch of characters I never heard of.
Okay, it's always New Mutants.
I can't remember. What's her name? Escapade.
Who? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So if you don't know who she is, I didn't know who she is.
I think it's a dude. Okay.
Escapade, yeah. And then I don't know. She's training on Krakoa to do some shit.
Probably from the 90s or some shit.
She's
something. I'm sorry, I know that they taking like the other X team, Generation X shit, like they just stick them on the New Mutants.
Maybe Reign's like helping her train and shit. And they fight a big dragon at the end. I thought it was just it didn't grab me. I'm not current on X lore. I haven't read the New Mutants in a while. So I tried to drop as a number one. I'll try to drop in, and I didn't know what was going on. So
I thought like an annual some shit. I didn't know what it was. But
no, it's like a new arc. It's like a 1 through 5. So
interesting.
I don't know if I don't know if it's an ongoing or whatever, but it just said 1 through 5. It said new creative team.
What these books are doing now, they say 1 through 5, but if it starts selling, they're like, you know what? Throw some more issues on.
Yeah, I wasn't sure who she was. I can't even remember. That's why I was like, I don't know.
Because Poison Ivy was a limited series.
Yeah, now it's
and it's still going.
It's like number 9 now or whatever.
Right. Well, keep going. Okay.
But yeah, I'm not privy to X lore enough to give it a warranted review, is what I'm saying. So it's like,
okay, yeah.
If you're an X fan, if you're a hardcore X fan, you might dig it, but I'm not. So yeah,
I know the core members when you start digging in the escapades.
Well, like Warpath is in it for like a couple panels, and Daddy Moonstar I think has one line of dialogue. But Rain's in it. Rain's in it. She's training this escapade. Yeah, I don't think Sunspot or anybody else or Magic showed up.
They're probably in Shi'ar Galaxy. They always doing some weird shit.
Yeah.
Hell, Magic was in X-Men. She's X-Men now.
Okay, yeah.
She was in the X-Men book I just reviewed. Yeah, she was dancing with Philip.
Yeah, she was. Well, there was a big X-Men or New Mutants thing. Like one of the last New Mutants arcs I've read was about Magic letting what's her name? Madeline Pryor take over Limbo. That was like the last story arc I read. So I haven't read New Mutants in a while. So I tried to jump back in. I'm like, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. So.
Oh well. And last thing I want to talk about? Good news. Dog has finally brought back all the Death Row albums that were released on streaming services. They've been gone for like about a year.
Oh, okay.
He brought them all back. Yeah. So Chronic, Doggy Style. I've listened to all that old Death Row 90s stuff. Love it. Deep cover. It's all on there. All the stuff was gone like that. Because the funny thing is, like, for those who don't know, Hasbro had owned Death Row Records for a while. Like the same people that own Transformers. Yeah. Hasbro owned them. Snoop Dogg bought Death Row from Hasbro.
Suge Knight sold it to Hasbro?
Oh, no. When Suge Knight got locked up. He lost it in like some kind of liquidation, whatever like that. So it was just out there, and Hasbro just bought it.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Damn, we could have had like Snoop Dogg action figures and shit.
Yeah. Gomer and them did like a whole show on it when that shit happened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they did the whole thing like, and they probably like, okay, we want like a Dr. Dre with one of them weird Transformers, jazz or some shit. I don't know who the fuck they were talking about. But yeah, so they were doing that. But anyway, Snoop Dogg bought it from Hasbro, took it off streaming when he did it because I think he was going to turn them like into NFTs, some shit like that. Luckily, no one gives a fuck about NFTs.
Wasn't Vanilla Ice signed to death row at one point?
No, he wasn't signed to death row. However, I think his ghostwriter was signed to death row.
Oh.
And that's why Suge Knight hung him out a window saying he wanted his money.
Okay.
So they left that out of the death row movie, but yeah. Yeah, but anyway, it's back on there. Listen to all the 90s death row stuff. It's there. Jamming. Awesome. Love it. But yeah, that's all I got.
And I'll just say, add this one little thing. I shout out to Indigenous Pop. Is that what it's called? Indigenous Comic-Con happened this weekend in Oklahoma. It's like the first time they've had it since the pandemic. It took place in Oklahoma City or maybe Tulsa. I forget. Anyways, it's like the first Indigenous Comic-Con. Basically, a bunch of Native artists and actors from shows like Reservation Dogs were there, and the cosplay contest. They had a screening of Prey with like the producer and shit.
That was awesome. Okay.
The Star Wars in Navajo, in the Navajo language, that they like Lucasfilms actually, licensed
so it's official. Okay.
Yeah, licensed the Navajo Nation to dub it in their language, and I guess all that shit happened. A Tribe Called Geek, I think, is one of the sponsors. That's the site I write for. Tribe Called Geek. They're similar to Outright Geekery. Shout out to Outright Geekery. It's another Tribe Called Geek is another nerd culture site with the indigenous perspective. We review movies, comics, books, and stuff like that from and then showcase Native artists and comics, media, all that shit. And I happen to do reviews for them. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there that Indigenous Comic-Con happened again, finally, after 3 years or whatever.
Oh, well, pandemic. We got to blame it on the pandemic.
Yeah. So yeah, but shout out to Outright Geekery and Gomer and all the shit he does.
Right. And whoever else running, because it's a whole machine that we don't even know how it works. But yeah. Like I said, if you listen this long, different, like, share, subscribe. If you listen this long, we appreciate you. Watch this long, we appreciate you. It helps out the algorithm, Next week we'll come up with some new shit. I will watch Shazam, give my thoughts and critiques on it.
Shazam comes out next week?
Comes out next week, yeah. So I'll watch it, see where to go from there. What else comes out this week? Something else comes out this week, but I don't know what it is.
John
on TV,
Wick?
I mean.
Oh, on TV.
No, like TV wise, but I don't know. But I probably do some video game news. You know what? We just dropped video game news all of a sudden. We're gonna bring that back. I'm gonna do something. Yeah.
Well, there hasn't been any games that I've played lately.
Oh, yes, I will do some video game news. Okay, Resident Evil demo just dropped. It's on my hard drive right now. I didn't play it because I was lazy. I was tired.
4?
But yeah,
is it 4?
Yeah,
it's just a demo. It's a remake or whatever. I might check it out. Then
remake of the demo. So yeah,
I played 4.
Yeah, so but it's good.
I had on the GameCube. I had that on the GameCube.
I did too. I bought a GameCube just for that and Smash Brothers.
Pretty much, yeah.
But until then, this is Leroy.
This is Eli.
Talk to you guys next week. Same bullet time.